I'm stupid. I'm dumb and I'm stupid and I'm an idiot, is what I've found. So I've been trying to record this intro. This is like my 5th time. I've just now realized that I had the output set to this microphone. And I was like, the audio quality is so bad and I can't even hear myself now. What's happening? I'm tweaking. I'm very new to this editing thing. We're gonna have a whole lot of fun, as you'll see. Premiere is scary. Technology is scary. Anyways, I'm James, also known as 6th. Welcome to my series. This is called For Me Really, and the gist of it is that I interview whoever the hell I want to and have a great time doing it. I ask them questions that they don't typically hear if I'm good at my job, and we just hang out and have a good time. I usually talk to like voice actors and actresses right now. I'm really interested in people that are working in the voice acting industry, but I've also talked to like a BBC director by the name of Patrick Evans. I've talked to the guy that made the Halo soundtrack, Michael Salvatore. Stuff like that. The only ones that'll be posted as of right now are the voice actors and actresses ones, but I think I might go in like little segments, so who knows what I'll do next. Yeah, so with all that being said, this is Austin Tindle, the amazing voice actor of so many cool characters. The main character of 91 Days, the main character of Windbreaker, the main character of Tokyo Ghoul, and we really dive into, who he is as a person, his methods, how he feels about certain characters and plot lines, and it's a really good video, so thank you for stopping by. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you think I'm cool or would like to see more of this, or just want to help a guy out, because I'm desperate over here. I'm begging. But yeah, nice to meet you. I hope you enjoy my series, and I hope this goes somewhere. And if it doesn't, I'm gonna continue doing it anyways, because it's for me, really. With all that being said, this is 6th signing on.
Hi, everyone. This is me, 6th, also known as James. Welcome back to another episode of For Me Really. I'm here tonight with a voice actor who's demonstrated an incredible range in his characters and dub work. I am, of course, talking about the well-decorated Austin Tindle. Austin here has voiced several heavy hitters, such as Naito Monoma in My Hero Academia, Ken Kaneki / Hayase Sasuke in Tokyo Ghoul, and Angelo Lagusa in 91 Days, which is my favorite. He has
Oh,
287 roles on his IMDb page and has been a part of countless other popular anime. Austin, thank you for being willing to meet with me and to hang out for a bit. It's a complete honor to have you here on the show. I hope your day's gone well so far. I've kind of already asked you. And you did some voice acting earlier today, right? You might not
Yeah,
be
I was
allowed to
gonna.
speak on it.
I can say the words Zenless Zero, but I can't say anything else.
That's awesome. That's very exciting. Yeah, so I have a couple of like general questions about your career and things you've said in previous interviews, and then I'll move on to some questions that focus on your specific roles. Is that okay for you?
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. So before I do these interviews, like look into people's previous interviews and that sort of stuff and previous like statements and works. So that way I'm not asking you a bunch of like questions that you've already heard.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's got to get a little boring after a while. So hopefully this will feel like that. Yeah. Okay. So here we go. You were cast as Romeo with a classic acting company after changing your major from electrical engineering. In my interview with Wendy Lee, who voices Lilith in Dragon Goes House Hunting with you, I believe. I don't know if you guys got to meet. She put a very heavy emphasis on the fact that people pursuing voice acting should go into acting. I wanted to know if you agree with this and how has your background in acting affected your voicing and dubbing skills?
Um. Interesting. Well, I guess what I would say is that there's no difference between acting and voice acting. Um, in the sense that acting is about expressing your intention directly and hopefully subconsciously, uh, without any barriers. So, uh, you know, um, uh, I don't know. Um, uh, I started in the stage, which is where I learned how to tune my instrument,
Right.
and uh, I was, um, yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know. Give me another question. Let me
You got it. You
my
got it.
brain.
No worries. Okay. This one's a lot lighter. I was wondering if you're a pet owner. And I
Oh,
I was thinking of the interview where there's a dog on your lap and it had its own segment of the video carved out in the bottom of the YouTube because you're just sitting there petting it the whole time.
uh, I've had many pets. Right now, I have two cats.
Okay.
One is named Haru, and Haru is let me see if I can get her on
I
camera.
was gonna ask if she was in the room with us.
Do you see her?
Oh, is that a tuxedo
Her little
cat?
face.
She's so
Yes.
adorable.
Okay, her name is Haru. She is actually named after a show I was in called "My Roommate Is a Cat,"
Fantastic. Yeah.
with a tuxedo cat named Haru. I got her at the SPCA. Oh, and she wants me to play with her.
Oh, that's
She's
fantastic.
camera
That's so
shy,
great.
so I'm
My
pretty excited.
my girlfriend and soon to be fiance um
Yeah.
is a cat owner as well. She has three of them. And one of them tuxedo cat, super tiny, named Jenny. But I love them to pieces. They're great. That's awesome. Yeah.
Beautiful Haru, and then let's see if we can get Max in here. Max. There's Max. I don't know if you can see him.
I see a vague silhouette.
Yeah, it's dark in here.
That's okay.
Max is a Siamese cat that just showed up at the front door one day.
So he
Uh,
chose you, essentially.
he did, yes.
Yeah.
Cat distribution system.
There you go. Yep. It's always in
Uh,
effect. I'm sure my time is
I'm
coming.
not sure how old they both are,
Okay. Yeah.
but they are wonderful kitties. And look, they have kind of opposing colors. You got a little.
Yeah. Yeah. Got a yin and yang thing going on.
I know. I didn't
That's
do it on
great.
purpose.
Well, I bet since one of them came to you. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I've always been interested in how you take care of your voice despite all of the hard lines and yelling in the industry, especially when I'm like looking at people like Alex Lee or Bryce Papenbrook who are known for yelling
Yeah.
specifically. You're not far off of that with your work in Tokyo Ghoul. I was curious if you could talk about your journey of like learning this power of yell, I think you called it.
Oh, interesting. Well, I think the skills that I learned came from doing theater, and a lot of them came from doing Shakespeare. I did 8 years of Dallas Shakespeare,
Wow.
um, and I studied at Lenox, Massachusetts, with a company called Shakespeare and Company, and they're pretty amazing people. And there's a lot of different philosophies about acting. A lot of people go into the method direction, but me personally, I think the things that Kristen Linklater developed. Man, I'm sorry, I have terrible
You're
lighting in
totally
here.
fine. That's the person that made the Linklater method, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, Linklater method. If you can find a Linklater teacher, good luck, but they're amazing. And
Awesome.
Tina Packer and Shakespeare and Company, they really unlocked a lot for me, and a lot of what they teach you is about tapping into your intuition and sensitizing yourself and becoming childlike,
Yeah.
letting go of the traumas and barriers that that
Kind of shape
that
you.
we that shape us as
Yeah.
we become adults. Um, so
Interesting. Yeah. So you'd say that like those barriers kind of, or at least the concept is that those barriers kind of hold you back and prevent you from being able to work fluidly. And so like working through that is essential or
yeah, I guess what I would say is that um, uh, your frontal lobe is the part of your brain that tries to shove information everywhere, and when you're trying to act in a scene and decide what you're doing, um, it's from the point of playing, as Shakespeare would say. So the best thing that you can do is to be childlike, zen-like, to sensitize yourself, to be in a subtle state of awareness, so that something comes out of you that you don't expect. And there's a lot of practices that can help enliven that. And like I said, Shakespeare and Company is a great place where I learned to hone that craft. And I think that's what makes acting an art form is
Yeah.
is is this unrelinquished kind of you know uh, tapping into what you would call the soul is in terms of just speaking truth and intention without uh, deciding what it needs to be. A lot of people get caught up, especially people who are trying to become voice actors.
Yeah.
A lot of people get caught up in this idea that they have to become something, but you are all the characters. We all play different roles in our
Right.
lives, and unleashing your natural voice is the key to creating authentic line readings.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would
The
say,
job is what you are. Yeah.
yeah, a lot of people are modulating their voices and focusing on trying to change the voice in order to make things happen. But if you can tap into exactly, and honestly, the things that you think suck about how you sound or look or feel, those are actually the tools that are going to make you the most useful in storytelling. And the more you can lean into that, the more useful you will be uh, for helping to tell a story. Just step out of the way and to just allow the story to happen. So
Wow.
a, a lot of it is a lot of it is subconscious, and it takes time. It's an internal muscular structure that you build up. Um, just like any other art form, you learn all the rules so that you can then break them.
Right. Right.
And it takes repetition, and it takes time. And another important thing I think people need to remember is that practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes permanent. So it's important that you practice your craft in the right way.
Right.
And
Is it
that
similar to
means,
that concept of like doing something 21 times to memorize it and you can learn to do things the wrong way?
yeah, yeah,
Like that
yeah, or the
idea? Yeah.
10,000 steps, um, uh, but like, yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah.
lost my train of thought.
That's okay. I think you summed that up really well, and that was a super interesting look into it because I'm not on that side. I would love to get into voice acting, but I'm not quite there yet. I just got out of college, so I'm figuring out what I want to
Yeah,
do, and then I'm going to do that on the side.
I encourage
So
everyone to because okay, like um, in terms of voice acting, your voice lives inside your body. Your
yeah,
bones are um, resonators, your muscles are dampeners. Is there a way that you can stay as relaxed as possible so that your muscles are loose and your bones are stacked and your voice reverberates throughout your entire body? The castrati used to train and believe that their lungs went all the way down to their knees, which wasn't true, but they would tell people that as a
right.
visualization exercise to try to figure
Like
out how
chest
to.
voice and head voice, kind of like. I guess
Well,
that's
yeah,
more
yeah,
factual, but
yes,
still,
but
yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
exactly. But expanding and uh, gosh, it's hard to say specifically how to put in words. I mean, just like anything else. It takes repetition and telling people what the right way to do things is doesn't work. You have to kind of experience it.
yeah,
So that's why I think theater is such a useful tool for unlocking the skills that you need to become successful as a voice actor. Voice
totally.
acting is so removed from our natural sense of play uh, that it's important to build a structure inside of yourself of authenticity and connection with other people, and breaking down barriers of how the parts of your brain that try to control you and stop
Right.
you from doing what you need to do. Um, and just like anything else, it unlocks over time. And there's a lot of things that you can look up and read that won't make sense until you do them. Fake it till you make it
Right. Yeah.
is a useful tool because it's true. You do, and I also want to say that like imitation um, is a is a great way to start any art form.
Right.
So if you start off just impersonating voices, that's great. You're playing with your instrument. If you go check out Unleashing the Natural Voice, it's a book by Kristen Linklater. There's a ton of exercises for unlocking the internal muscular vocal structure, where vowel sounds live in your body, where they resonate, where emotions live.
That
Um,
sounds great. Yeah.
and you know the things that you read won't make sense until you do it over and over and over again. And this is a process for me that's been going on for you know uh, 25 years and will
Right.
continue to go. You're always learning new things.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, let's see. I wanted to know, you play the very brief, sorry if I botch this, Jude Huan in solo leveling.
Oh yeah.
And you've mentioned in the past playing brief roles of characters that soon die off. I was curious if you have any short-lived characters that you wish you had the opportunity to flesh out more or even just continue voice acting for.
Huh.
And I know you've played
I,
a billion of them, like Soldier 2 or whatever,
uh,
but
right. Yeah. I mean, I sure would love to be in solo leveling more. It'd be
yeah.
cool if that came back. Uh, also, I think of Pele Popolo from um, oh gosh, what is that anime called? Uh, my brain is soup. It's so hard to keep all of them together because it is run and gun all the time, and some of them do get repetitive.
Plunderer?
Plunderer, thank you, good
Yep.
job.
What can I
Um,
say?
that show could go a lot deeper, and I would love to see that character. He doesn't die, so that technically doesn't answer the question.
Okay, okay.
Uh,
That's fine though.
but
That counts too. I just mean characters that you wish that you could flesh out more, just in general.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I love to live in any of those spaces. Uh, and they, these days they're coming by so quickly. It's hard to hold on to any of them. And the interesting thing about anime dubbing, which is different than like theater or um, video games or movies, is well, I mean, video games maybe, but with anime, you kind of show up and you say the lines two or three times, and then you're done, and
Yeah.
you walk away forever. So it's hard to hold on to that thing as opposed to rehearsing it and living
Right.
it and making decisions.
It's less of your
So
identity, I imagine, for the
yeah,
shorter ones. Yeah.
it certainly it can affect you, but that's also why I think that in terms of acting, like the Linklater stuff is so useful because you're not focusing on uh, trying to figure out what something is. You're really quickly
Right. It's
sensitizing
instinctive,
yourself and
right?
responding. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, you got to respond quickly to what's going on. And the more you do it, the more you realize like a lot of these stories repeat. A lot of these emotions are universal. So as long as you figure out the authentic intention, then usually there's a line reading that sounds like what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And the fun thing is, the level one is you start pooping out the line readings that make sense, especially for all these repetitive kind of supernatural hero stories that we tell over and over
Right.
again. But uh, the fun nuance is how can you maintain that same intention while just tweaking it slightly to get the same level, the same. Excuse me, my nose is super stuffy.
You're totally
Uh,
fine.
the same, the same intention, but modulating it a bit. It starts with like, for instance,
Yeah.
when you create the melody of a line read, when you're saying any line. And with anime, you go line by line by line. So you end up evaluating like one line at a time. What does this nugget of information mean that I'm sending to this other person? And within that is a little melody, and it's usually going to have peaks and valleys. And you start with what's the operative word, and that changes the meaning of a sentence. Like, let's see, I have a glass jar here. Like, so I would say like, can you hand me that glass jar?
Right.
If I just say, hey, can you hand me that glass jar? That's one thing. But if I say, can you hand me that glass jar? That's one thing. Or,
Right.
you
Can
hand me
you
that
hand
glass
me?
jar?
Yep.
So, right, changing the operative word every time with each word can change the
The
meaning. But within
intonation.
that, there are different operative words that like you can find the operative, but then within that, there's peaks and valleys outside of that, and there's so many nuances that you can flow into making a line reading effective. And these are things that kind of sneak up in your brain over time. The practice that you need to do is just repeating and saying the lines, and hopefully building up an internal idea of how to spit that out without controlling it too much.
Right. Right.
At the end of the day,
You want natural, right? I mean, so that the goal is
right,
to
we're
get as
telling
close to that
stories.
as possible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
Great. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. What else do we have here? Okay. In the Yeah, okay. I've asked this to Wendy as well. I'm especially curious with you specifically because you've played villains like Millions Knives. I was
Yeah.
curious if you have a favorite type of character to voice. And I know that in the past you've mentioned wanting an isekai lead because of the stability and the pay. But aside from that, do you have a favorite genre of character to play?
You know, I think I've changed my mind about that since
Wow. Yeah, I
for
think
a
that was
long
two
time.
years
For a
ago.
long time.
So.
Yeah. Well, I change my mind a lot. Maybe tomorrow I will want the lead again. Um, playing one, I wanted for a long time. I wanted one character in a franchise that went on forever. Because it felt like stability. Because I was
Yeah.
scared of my career.
Real. Yeah, it's a scary area to work in.
Yeah, yeah.
Totally.
Um, but um, but I've had a couple that go on for a long time, and man, that can feel like purgatory.
Yeah.
So nowadays, honestly, it's important to have abundance mentality. Once you get roped into a network of actors, once you realize this is your lifestyle, this is what you're spending all your time doing,
Right.
it's way more fun to get to just be uh, uh, any intermediary in the story. My favorite character to play is what I would describe as a deuteragonist, which is not a protagonist or an antagonist. It's
Okay.
like a sub antagonist that motivates the plot that generally has like um, kind of a maybe a morally gray
Hashimoto
trait.
Classroom of the Elite.
Yeah, I don't know the reference, but sure, yeah, yeah.
That
But
was
it's someone that affects the lead
yeah.
that changes that shows up and
Yeah.
um, yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. I'm pretty sure that's the guy that you played, the blonde guy in Classroom of the Elite. Um
Oh,
maybe
okay.
I'm
Wow.
yeah,
Huh. No, I
yeah.
believe you.
Yeah, that's fine.
There's a
That's
lot
fine.
out there.
Okay. So, to be entirely selfish, I want to just say you've been in so many of my favorite anime, and in ways that I honestly didn't piece together, like before researching for the interview. Um, and it was so fun going back and being like, oh, that was you. Oh, you were also him. That's crazy. Especially Angelo Lagusa. And I'll get into that in a minute. But I just want to say thank you for all your work. Seriously,
Oh, thank
it's
you.
it's been amazing being able to talk to you so far. Um, but yeah, you talked about sensitizing yourself in a booth and kind of meditating to engage with these emotional moments efficiently. Was this a strategy that you built over time, or did it just kind of come to you one day?
A lot of those practices I learned again from intensives I did at Shakespeare and Company.
Yeah.
And I mean, back in the day, I used to, the old like Meisner. I mean, first of all, when you're acting, use any tools in your bag to get you there. And with anime, it's so run and gun that that's just it's about figuring out what the director wants because really the director is the artist and you're just kind of the paintbrush.
Yeah.
You're the tool. And so be a fine brush that can paint something very specific for them and try to interpret and figure out what they want quickly. So a lot of it is about just learning the vocabulary of the person who's putting this all together. But in general, like, uh, gosh, Sorry, my brain is
You're
full up.
completely fine. I
What was I saying?
I think
Bring me
I
back.
think you
What's
answered
that?
that. Yeah, it's you also already touched on it as well. That makes sense. I mean, you've studied this stuff intensively, so I'm sure it all kind of
Yeah,
goes
yeah.
together to make one
Yeah, it starts to
overarching
sit in the back of your brain.
instinct. Yeah.
And honing your instinct is the most important thing. This is what I was going to say is back in the day, I would use like sense memory, which is a big thing that Meisner would harp on, or the method acting where you would just sit in an emotion or try to pull something in and try to force it. And it's not. I mean, if that gets you there to get the job done, great. And sometimes we need to do
Sure.
that. But I have found, especially with anime, where you're receiving input, you're seeing the animation, so you're getting this stimulus that you can respond to. Um, the more you can just kind of let go and just be there and react, the more something cool happens, as opposed to
Right.
trying to figure it out and piece it together and academically decide what it needs to be. Now you need to do the study and the background work. You need to know what your objective is, what your super objective is, who your
Right.
character is, why you're there, and you need to be yourself in all of that. The crap that I fell into as a young actor was trying to be someone else instead of realizing that like I can be the villain or the hero or whatever or the lover or whatever version of a character,
Right. Yeah.
because we all play those different roles in different parts of our lives.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, this is the last of the general questions, and then we get to get into
Yeah.
91 Days, which is not enough people have watched it. People are when I'm supposed to introduce an anime to someone, that's usually the one that I start with because of just the
Yeah.
plot. It's just so rich. Okay. Anyways, what do you do when you're not voice acting? Do you watch anime? Do you play games? Do you go out and do recreational things? What does that look like for
I
you if you're okay talking about it publicly?
Yeah, sure. I play pool sometimes. I've been trying to
Okay.
get better at that. I still do theater when I can. It's hard to.
Right.
Theater really was my passion, and
Are you still
it's
in an improv troupe or is that no longer happening?
uh, the troupe is around. It comes and goes.
Okay.
I haven't been with them in the last few shows because my schedule is just too crazy. And
Sure. Yeah.
we weren't really improv. We were more sketch comedy. They did a little bit of improv, but it was mostly um,
Right.
writing sketches
You
and
also have
stuff.
the YouTube channel and stuff. Sorry. Anyways, so you do
Yeah. No,
pool.
you're
Yeah.
good. You're good. Uh, but but man, the tricky thing about gig work too is it does take over your life. So
Yeah.
it's hard
Yeah.
to find hobbies to stick to these
It's
days.
all go and
Uh,
very little stop.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So sleeping is one of my hobbies for sure.
I love sleeping. I'm a big sleep. I got my bed in frame. It's all about sleeping. It's it's fantastic. Okay, yeah, fair enough. I suppose playing with the cats as well. That's got to be
Oh yeah,
a nice way to
sure, yeah,
relax. Yeah.
definitely.
Okay. Well, 91 Days. Angelo Lagusa, I believe it aired around like 2016. How do you approach voicing an actor character who masks their emotions as much as Angelo does?
Um, huh, that's an interesting question. Um, I mean, again, with characters like that, you're so focused on like just paint by numbers, line by line. What does
Yeah.
this one line mean? What are we trying to do here? But uh, I guess there displaying subtext in your voice is again, it's largely a subconscious process,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it has a lot to do with your imagination and just dipping in and
Right.
figuring it out.
Yeah.
Um,
It's not something you consciously really think of while you're in the booth, then.
it's best not to, and I think you, as
Oh,
an
okay.
actor, you start with a lot of conscious intention.
Okay. Okay.
That's where you start. But the more you build up your skills, hopefully, the more it becomes subconscious, and you can let go of it. And
I see.
you're absolutely right with what you're saying. You're absolutely right. The building up that instinct, and
Yeah.
it takes time, and it takes obsessing over stories, and then
Yeah.
you do enough of them, you realize that these stories kind of repeat themselves a little bit. I think there's
Right.
a few analysts or writer uh, teachers that talk about how there's like basically like 13 different archetypes of stories that
Right.
exist, and
And it
then
all falls under that. Yeah.
yeah, and so once you see the pattern, you figure out what you're supposed to do, and then the fun thing is to like obtain the objective,
Right.
and then add over the mystery.
Tweak it
One
a
of my
little
favorite
bit, like you were talking about.
one of my favorite actors is like Ryan Gosling because
Hmm.
uh, he he will step out of the way a little bit, and if you leave a little bit of vagueness in there, it allows the audience to project their own interpretation of the story, so that we're listening and following the intentions and the actions of the scene. It's easy as us actors to get, and I should just speak from the eye perspective that like I'm very indulgent. I used to be obsessed with just really feeling the emotion and putting myself through that.
Right. I mean, I'm
Uh,
sure that comes hand in hand with Shakespearean plays and stuff, right?
yeah,
Is
for
that
sure.
mindset. So totally.
But the amazing thing is that like, especially Shakespeare, when you learn how to perform it, which is way more accessible than people think it is. It's not an academic thing. It's
Yeah.
something that children can do really well. Is there's so much structure in the words already that if you can speak the words and allow the words to affect you, and the words have their own onomatopoeic value. They resonate inside of you and they mean something, and that comes out. And so if you step outside of yourself and just let that happen, then the story tells itself.
Yeah.
And if you go too far into forcing something, then you're kind of forcing an emotion on to people, and then they don't get to kind of connect to it as much as they could. Um, but
Yeah.
just yeah,
Yeah.
stillness and simplicity. You'd be surprised how much you can get away with that. And that's where you should start. I think
Okay.
the important thing is you need to unlock your natural voice before you try to create other voices.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Um, okay. And in a fun little change of things, is it hard to voice a character who uses an accent for so long, while preventing it from changing your voice and pronunciation in your everyday life? I in the past like have done a couple little things. Like there was I pulled a prank on some like mutual friends where I had an accent with them for 2 months online, and then I dropped it one day. And I would find myself saying things and having a small intonation still left over. So I was curious if that's something that you've experienced at all, or if that's just in my case.
Yeah, I mean that happens, and I think I've experienced that in life more than in the booth because in the booth
Yeah.
it goes by so quickly that you don't have to live in it too long. Like I know Austin Butler, I think it was that played Elvis. Like he got
Yeah,
stuck in
I
that
was
voice.
gonna mention him. Yeah, you can still hear it
Yeah,
some. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and Ariana Grande even talks about how there's times where she will rest at a certain pitch because she's preparing for something that she needs to record, so she's opening up that resonance and getting used to being there.
Right.
But the moment that we start learning how to speak, we kind of lose our natural tone because we start imitating people around us. That's just
Yeah,
what.
yeah. And there's a lot of code
Um,
switching as well and all of that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we're designed to do.
Yep.
And so, um, to some degree, we're all just a collection of experiences that we spit back out.
Yeah, yeah, we
Uh,
are an environment. I fully believe that. Yep.
right. Yeah. I'll say this: years and years of playing young kids has led me to like talk up here more than I need to. I spend a lot
Yeah,
of time
yeah.
up here, so it takes a lot of effort to sometimes recognize where my own natural pitch range should be.
I'm in
Um,
a weird similar area minus the voice acting experience because growing up I would get in trouble if I didn't speak in like a happy tone. And so like sometimes I'll like talk up here a lot, which is very
yeah,
different from like talking like I nowadays actively try to correct for that because of the years of not
yeah,
being able to really do that. So that's
yeah.
a strange overlap. Yeah. Okay.
And
Um,
I grew up in Texas, where a lot of guys are trained to just talk like
yeah,
this.
talking like Ford
Like if I
tough.
wanted to, I could be talking that shit all the time. Your
Yeah,
chest
yeah, I
voice
get
is
it.
your natural voice. Um,
It's what feels the easiest to get out there and just really drive home. Yeah.
But that, and that's the fun thing about Shakespeare too. I think if you really steep yourself into the traditions of the repertory companies from the past, is it's about expanding. that instrument so that you can use the full spectrum and all the octaves that you have available to you to
Right.
express different intentions. Anytime you put on a voice, what you're really doing is cutting out your full breadth and
Right.
like taking a little section and saying, I'm gonna live right
Like you
here.
start at the
Like,
full and then you minimize to different areas of it, right?
yeah.
Basically. Yeah. Wow. Wasn't that awesome? Wasn't that fun and amazing? Don't you wish that you could watch more of that? Well, guess what? You can, my friend. You can watch way more than that because I am going to keep recording more videos for you to watch and it's going to be so cool and together we're going to go on a really fun journey all together. You guys and me and I'm going to keep seriously though, thank you for watching. Part 2 will be next. I might link it if I figure out how to do that with that little cool box thing that they do. If I figure that out, click that. If not, it'll be on my channel, and I'm so sorry that I'm terrible at editing. I'm getting better, though. I'm getting better. I'm learning how this thing works. So thank you for being here. Yap, yap, yap. It's been awesome. See you guys in part 2.